Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today's episode is brought to you by stayinblue.ca because we still don't really have any Welsh sponsors for all these Devils. But today I am so excited to have on a 35-year-old from Calgary, Alberta. He's a repeat Potter. As a player, he was a two-time Challenge Cup winner, a one-time playoff champion, a two-time league winner. As a coach, he was a two-time playoff champion and a one-time league champion. That's in the UK league, folks. He also won the UK MVP for thesis proofreading. He is a below-average spray painter, but has a great attitude. Welcome to round two, Dr. Luke Piggott.
Yeah, always good to be back on the pod with you, Wally. I really like to carve out as much Wally time as I possibly can, as you know.
Well, I was really happy you said you wanted to just catch up and have a beer, and now we just hit record when we do this, but now we're doing it more often, so it's good.
Now we have an official excuse rather than just sitting in front of a computer screen drinking beers at each other.
Exactly. There's a purpose to this now, right? There's a purpose. So, because I didn't really know what I was doing the first time on the first ever episode, and I didn't really have a plan of attack, I was nervous as heck and got emotional. I tried to re-listen to it the other day to see what we talked about. Man, it was hard to get through listening to myself. It was tough.
Yeah, I think I've been listening to the podcast a bit more recently. It seems like you've added a bit of structure to the whole thing since we spoke.
Yeah, I just can't believe what's happened since our first talk was I was just I want to have a podcast and I want to talk to my friends and I want to have beers and catch up. And I was I have interesting friends all over the place. And guess what, folks? I have more than I even realized. But it's been so much fun. And to think from yourself and I just having a couple beers and shooting the breeze, it's now been listened to in, I think today was 26 countries. And we're getting close to 8,000 downloads. So it's all kind of weird to think that it's just drinking beers in my shed, and now we're doing it again, and people will probably listen again.
It's amazing how many people are actually interested in hearing you and me talk crap.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess it's like that day we talked about up in the Alps in Switzerland. People enjoyed those conversations with us, I think. So, okay, moving on. I always do it now is how we know each other, which was obviously episode 1, which will always have a soft spot in my heart. And I am getting all the posters printed, and I'm going to fill the shed with all the posters. And then that'll be the new backdrop when I ever get them printed, whenever it's not a lockdown. Then the other part we know each other is obviously the Cardiff Devils. But then this sucker right here is another reason.
What's that?
Oh, the
Thor hammer. The Thor hammer. Still going.
The batteries have not been changed once, and it still works.
That was a hell of an investment I made there for Colby.
I think
although I'm not sure who used it more, you or him.
I know Dees will never forget that gift either from that episode 20, I think, folks. So yeah, the Thor hammer is still rocking. Every time I look at it, I just kind of giggle and think about hitting Dees in the ass with it.
Yeah, I hope you washed it before you gave it back to Colby.
Oh man. And then I guess the other part which we got into last time was our ski trip. Obviously, we went on, but the one thing we didn't really talk about was winning the Challenge Cup together.
Oh yeah, that was a great day. I mean, I guess if you just looking back, obviously for me, I'd been a part of the Devils for a number of years already before you guys all arrived with the new era, if you remember it. And back then the team, we had different owners. It was a scrap to get money, scrap to get paid as players, and the budget was so strict that G and Franny had very little sort of money to work with, and we put together these teams, and we did above what we should have done with the budget that we had, but we were never really in contention for any sort of championship. So first of all, I was just happy to get the opportunity to play at that level at that point. And then after a couple of years, you start to get that thirst for, I want to win something. And, we're really up against it year on year here. And then, when the new ownership came in and we finally got that first championship, for me, like that's one of the most memorable moments of my career is winning my first trophy professionally. And I don't think I've ever celebrated quite so hard as we did on that occasion either, because it was quite momentous for me.
I have celebrated that hard before. I did it in
You're
Germany.
just a winner, though. You're just a winner. So that comes with the territory.
I did do it in Germany, in Deutschland. The boys can definitely confirm that the Deutsche Meister Day at the parade was probably worse than the Challenge Cup Day, if you can imagine that, because there was a whole town of people there seeing the show. But you don't win every day, and when you get your first one and you realize what it does to a city and what it did for those fans, that was a special day. Yeah, and it was quite the time afterwards.
Yeah, well, I just remember we were back in, we stayed up in, you remember, I'm sure, well, at least parts of it, we stayed in the Holiday Inn up in Sheffield afterwards, and the ownership had sort of said, we didn't expect to win anything this year. This is a big celebration for you guys. Like, don't worry about the next game. Let's all enjoy it tonight. And they put their wallets behind the bar and just said, get after it. And
and we did.
And we did. We accepted that challenge, and off we went. And I mean, there was some. I don't know how much they regretted that decision after they got the hotel bill after we departed, but I think that they enjoyed it probably just as much as we did. So I feel like it was money well spent in the end.
Oh dear. Well, I, in my personal opinion, is they try to say we lost the league because of that next game. Well, you know what? There was like 70 games that year, and you could have won any of the other ones. And when you win a championship in your life, you got to celebrate it, because you don't know when you're going to have that feeling again. You can't say, well, let's save it for the end of the league title and then we'll celebrate. Well, no, because you don't get that same feeling again. You won it that night, and it's time to go. And that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say, we didn't really lose it when we lost to Sheffield on the Wednesday following that trip. When we lost it was when we lost in Edinburgh, I think, like 2-1, like 3 weeks earlier,
Yeah.
Like, those are the games that you really should win anyway. It was always going to be a battle in that game with Sheffield. So, you drop points to those teams who were bottom of the table, scrapping for players, 10 guys on this squad. And, we didn't lose it on that Wednesday. It was the other games throughout the season, which, makes it difficult. That's why it makes it so hard to win that league.
Yeah, it is that hard. It's crazy. But okay. Then you guys did go on. I'm done. The next year was my pregame speaking year, which we've covered quite a bit. But then you guys go on to become like a dynasty, right? You guys just after that Challenge Cup, you guys we obviously blew it the next year there when I was spray painted and whatnot, and things didn't go right near the end, but it was a good year the whole year until the end. But then you guys did break through and just start winning, and you started winning a whole bunch. And I got back over to Cardiff 5 years later, which this is also part of how we know each other, is you were a coach now. Lordo was even more serious than I remembered. Bouncy was still the goalie. Marty was still the captain, or he was the captain then, but like everything was still kind of familiar. Other than you guys had a lot more pictures of championships up on the wall. But you guys really did her there for the next, 5 years?
Yeah, no, it's, I think and that's the thing that I think is even more special about that championship that we first won in that first year is it set the tone, and I think it just, everything grew from there. It's like, okay, now we're winners, so we're going to have to be winners from now on. And that's what's expected of us. So, and I think that also that feeling and that party and the fun that we had there, I think that's something every guy wants to, do over again. And, that it is a very special feeling as a player that you work that hard for something like that and you get it done. So I think that there was a definite thirst for more there. Although I feel like we have breezed over a couple of pretty funny stories that happened from that night. I don't know how many of those we can tell. I'll tell one about me if you want. Do you want me to tell the one about me that I thought was quite funny?
Yeah, well,
So
absolutely. The stories about yourself are definitely what people enjoy because sometimes I feel bad if there's like something bad that's told about someone else.
well, I'll tell the one about me, then I'll tell the one about you.
Dear.
So obviously we're at the bar, right? And if you remember the night before, we went up because we were trying to prepare, right? And we went up the day before and we practiced in Sheffield, in this practice arena. Do you remember this? And we had the fan noise going on, so we were playing like the cheers. So
it wasn't in the Sheffield practice arena. We went up and stayed in a hotel like halfway after a game the night before.
Yeah,
we played the night before.
We played the night before in Nottingham.
But we stayed somewhere else.
Night before. And we stayed halfway. It was like something, whatever it was. And I just remember so obviously we'd stayed in that hotel. Then we went and won the championship, and then we got to the after party of winning the Challenge Cup. And obviously, I think it was Shostak was just feeding me beers whilst he was at the bar because he thought it was funny. And everyone was falling over themselves. And then eventually someone sort of said, all right, that's enough. Someone send Pigs to bed. He can't even stand up anymore. So I wandered off. They put me in the lift, right? And then I wandered off. And I'm trying to find my hotel room. And I go up to my room. And then I'm trying my key. It doesn't work. So I think, screw this. I'll go back down to the party. And then 10 minutes have passed. And I show right back up at the party asking Shostak for another beer. And he's like, how did this guy get back here? Send him back to bed. So I realized, I was like, all right, my key's not working. So I go to the front desk and I say, my key's not working. Okay, what's your room number? And I give him the room number. Give me a new key. I put the key in. I go through the door, and Willsy's in there with his girlfriend. And I walk straight in, and the two of them prop up in the bed, and they're like, Pigsy, what are you doing? I was like, why are you in my room? And they're like, we're not in your room. We're in our room. I was like, the stupid woman at the reception desk gave me the wrong key. So I go straight back down. I'm like, you gave me the wrong room number key. It's this room number. So she gives me another key, and I wander straight back up. I put the key in the door, go inside. Willsy and his girlfriend are there again. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I was so drunk, I didn't realize that I'd literally just gone straight back into the same room. And I was just like, oh, fucking hell. So I go back downstairs and I say, Todd, you screwed this rooming system up. I don't have a room. Willsy's in that one with his girlfriend. I need a room. So he buys me a room, gets me a key. I go up, I pass out. And then the next day I wake up and my clothes are on the floor and I'm looking for my bag. I'm like, where is everything? I don't know where anything is. And I go back and I speak to Wills. He's like, what will you keep coming in our room for? And I was like, no, you were in my room. And then it all clicked to me that I was like, oh, that was the room number I had the night before when we stayed in the Midway station. And so Todd had basically paid for a hotel room for my backpack to live in for the night because I couldn't remember my room number. So I got another key, went and collected all my stuff. And then I was just never told him, Todd, you ended up paying for a hotel room for my backpack to sleep in that night. But I think he'd be okay with it even so.
Well, yeah, no, I do know my story.
I know your story.
I also got discombobulated. I also could not find my hotel room. I believe they misplaced it. I wasn't sure where they moved it to, but I couldn't find it. And so I started banging on some doors, at the end of the evening. And Jesse Mitchin was kind enough to wake up and let me into his room, which I guess would have been, looking back on it, probably not a great decision on his part, but he did get me into a bedroom. So thank you, Jesse. That was very kind of you. But it was a tough.
How did you repay him for that kindness? I'm intrigued.
Well, it was just a tough bus trip back. I remember we woke up and we all got on the bus with everybody's girlfriends and wives, and everybody was on the bus, but everybody had really stayed up late. And she was a struggle to get back to Cardiff that day.
You're not going to tell them what Jesse got in return for his kindness of letting you in his room?
I mean, I had worked to the point of exhaustion that night in the game. So I happened to throw up that night in his room.
Did he? And then you left, didn't you? You went and slept somewhere in someone else. You're like, oh, it smells in here. I gotta go sleep somewhere else.
I think I did. I think I started
all over the room.
I think I started feeling better after I threw up, and I found my own room.
He lets you in his room. You puke all over it, and then you're like, "Oh, this place is disgusting. I will go sleep in my own room." He regrets the day he let you into that room.
Yeah. No, like I said, in hindsight, he probably wouldn't open the door if he could replay it, right?
No. Life's just a series of bad decisions, you know?
But the one thing I was going to say is how mind-blowing it was when I went back to Cardiff to see from where we were at when I first went over there in the big blue tent, where Deese was the equipment manager, and like I was doing my thing, and like everybody was just free and easy, and everybody was just enjoying the game. And like then like you guys were radioing up to people above the arena, and they were radioing down to you, and you guys had all this video production system in the coach's room, and there was just so many bells and whistles nowadays in hockey, eh?
Yeah, I mean, as things progress, you know, technology moves on. That's things like podcasts and over video chat and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the league just got better and better, and you have to evolve with it. And I think the key thing for that was CHL. So, you know, you see these things from these other teams that makes them so successful, and you talk to them and they give you these kind of tips and these things that you should be doing. And if you want to compete at that level, those are the kind of things that you do. And as soon as one team does it in your league, every team's got to start doing it, because it does give you that level of advantage. And, you know, we have the iPad on the bench there that we'd have live clips and replays. I had the radio. People always used to joke that they looked like a bouncer on the bench, and I'd be radioing up to the guys up top, asking them to, can you just clip the last 20 seconds? Because I want to show a guy something, or you want to show them the breakout and where it went wrong. Or if a goal went in, we can look at it live and see what happens, so that we can address it instantly, right? Rather than have to wait for the period break. So, I mean,
that makes sense though. Like, I just find it weird because basically my whole career, like I hardly ever watched video on myself. Like in Germany, second league, we didn't do video really. Like there was the odd coach that would do it once a month. And now to think like, yeah, when you're watching the game, it would be a lot easier to say, clip that last 20 seconds because I saw something. And that makes a lot of sense, because I couldn't imagine watching through all those hockey games. But I guess it makes sense if you remember when it happened and you can get it clipped right then and there.
Yeah, and you know, as time's gone on, guys have got more used to these things, and I get guys who would turn around and say, "Hey, can you bring my last shift down? I want to have a look at something." And you get it clipped and sent down, and you can show them, because they're like, yeah, he got a step on me there, or I should have done this or done that and kept him to the outside. So, you know,
but they know when that happens. I would know when that happens. I would, like, as soon as it happens in the game, you're like, I guess, but like I always knew when I messed up, or you'd be like, were you there? And he'd be like, yes, I was there. And I'd be like,
damn it. Never mind.
No, it was just very interesting to see where the game had gone since I had been out, because like we said, that first year, like you guys became a bunch of Rudy poos, right?
I think, you know, the expectation got higher. You know, when we came into that first year, that was what made it such a special year. No one expected us to win anything. You know, Lordo had scrapped together this team in about 6 weeks. There'd been an ownership change. We'd finished second to last the year before. It was like there was zero expectation. People were just happy to have a team still, without having to do like, you know, strikes outside the building and things like that. That, you know, it was one of those unique years where it doesn't matter what you do, there's no pressure. People just want to enjoy the game. And we enjoyed it as players. And I think the fans really enjoyed it to watch. And the stark difference that kind of thing makes But then the expectation comes. And it did, and it grew over the years that followed. I have to say the fans they expected more from you. They wanted this, they wanted that. Like you lose a game to a team that they don't think you should lose to. They're on your back, and they're all over you on Twitter, and they're all over you on these things, and that's their prerogative. But there's an expectation that comes with success. And yeah, you could call it Rudy Poo, but you know what? We put a few more trophies in the display there. So success was bred on success, basically.
No, it all makes sense when you see the progression. It's just the progression of hockey and how you see how everybody else does it and what makes them better. I just think the game's evolved a lot lately into what actually makes a good power play. Or like I remember doing the power play drop pass back to me in Germany, like literally like the very first year the Red Wings did it, we decided to try and do it over there, and we were like the only ones doing it. And now you see everybody doing it. Like every single power play drops it back to the guys coming up behind now. And it's like it's interesting because like it does make sense, because then they don't have a gap on you. They're standing still and you can just skate through them. It would be easy.
Yeah. And okay, so certain things take a bit of a while for the trend to come through, but then the next phase will be certain PKs will figure out the best way to break that up, and you have to change it up again. So
yeah, the game just keeps changing. So moving on is one of the things is for what's new since episode 1. Since we got to get into these repeat podders, this will be a new thing. Is what's new since is you're living in Lausanne, and Cardiff just was pulled in the same pool in the Champions Hockey League as them. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was. It's funny actually, because I remember when they drew the pots, right? And I took a look at how the system works for drawing the teams against each other, and I saw Lausanne was in pot 3 and the Devils were in pot 4, and I was like, okay, so there's a chance here. So I text Todd straight away and I said, oh, so you're saying there's a chance that this could happen? And he was like, oh, that would be cool if that did work out. And I'm like, we never get the draw that we want. We always get the worst draw, blah, blah, blah. And then the day rolled around and I'm sat here watching the draw live as well. And I think Todd was watching it back in Cardiff with Franny and a few others in Aglin's new place. And then obviously there it was. They pulled Lausanne straight into the pot and they're straight on the phone. And before I even managed to start typing a text, Todd was like, yes, we got it. And Franny was ringing me, and like it was the phone blew up there for about a solid couple of hours of everyone, going a bit mental. And then I had the owners asking me for bar recommendations, and you better get planning on this pub crawl. And it's like, it's pretty exciting. I was really pumped that everyone's going to be over here and get to see this place, and I get to host people. I get to show them around, and they get to see what I think is an awesome city. And I do think that the Devils fans are going to have a blast here. Like, it's a great place. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
I can't believe that they actually pulled them, and that your whole Devils family is going to be coming over to see you. That's got to be so exciting that actually happened, and that's going to happen. Because geez, I would do anything to be there. That would just be the coolest thing to see you, to see Todd, and I'm sure Steve King will be going, and I was almost a 2.3% owner of that team. I had a screenshot that basically said I was a part owner, which would mean, that's almost like a write-off to bring Wally to Switzerland. But anywho, if anybody does actually watch the YouTube feed, the channel, Two Ales and Hockey Tales, which I don't think I've really told anybody about or promoted, because I am not a marketer, folks. This is a passion project. But welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 35-year-old from Smooth Rock Falls, Ontario. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, Germany, France, Wales, England, and his last dry Jahr spielen in Deutschland for the Eispiraten Kremachau. He's been a conditioning coach. He taught Colby how to hunt with a Nerf gun. And he set up one of the best trips of all time to Morzine, France. Welcome to the podcast, Carl Hudson.
Wally, how are you? Thanks for having me.
We doubled down with guests. I love it.
Yeah.
Look at that hairstyle. Look at that.
How long's it been since you two seen each other?
Hey, I've been texting Huddy in French because I've learning how to speak French since I lived here, and what better guy to practice with than Huddy?
He could write better than I can already.
Yeah, I don't know, but he corrects me still, but that's okay. I need that kind of help.
So why are you learning French? Is that what's going on in Switzerland?
That's the language they speak here, Wally.
I thought no.
In the south,
speak German, dude.
No, they speak German in the north, and they speak French in the south. Well, in the southwest.
I thought you were in a German town.
No. It's all French speaking. Yeah.
Hi, Carl.
How's it going, Wally? How is everything?
Great, buddy. Thanks for coming on. I thought I would have a surprise guest halfway through. We've never done this before. We've never done a three-way. This is the first three-way, folks. We got a guy in Switzerland. We got a guy in Kincardine, and we got a guy. Where are you now, Carl?
So I'm in. It's in between Lindsay and Bob Cajun,
Ontario.
Yeah, like the Kawartha Lakes area.
Yeah, you have to name places people are actually going to know.
Okay,
oh, you got
like close to Peterborough.
Yeah, maybe 45 minutes from Peterborough, 30 minutes from Peterborough, and an hour and a half northeast of Toronto.
Well, and you guys bought a place there now, right? Like that's home now in the summers?
Yeah, so we bought it about 3 years ago now.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, sir. Today is not your legitimate podcast. This is just having a three-way with your buddies here. I figured you guys haven't seen each other in a while, so I thought who else would want to come on and have a beer with pigs, and we'll hit record.
Yeah, you thought of that 2 hours ago and texted me, eh?
Well, hey, thanks for being responsive.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't have anything going on, I guess. You weren't out hunting or something,
Well, you were lucky. I have nothing today.
So Carl, how did the end of your season go? Because last time we chatted was about you coming on the pod, and I've been busy. You've been busy, but you had an eye injury, and you were in Germany playing for the Ice Piraten Krimitschau, coldest rink in the world team that we've talked on the pod about.
Yeah, it was cold this winter. Even like they had the most snow they've had in like 10 years or something. So I think it was like even colder than it normally is. And then
did your water bottles ever freeze during a game? Because that happened to me there.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did. You'd have to put like warm water so that it wouldn't freeze.
And you know what's funny? Like, it's not funny, but like there's teams in that league that have like nicer rinks where like guys make more money and they don't have to suffer through those things, right? But like playing a Krimitschau just looks like it seems like a fun place and a good atmosphere. But man, when the water bottles freeze, that just can't be fun when it's every week.
If you have a good group of guys, I mean, it's always fun, right? You kind of laugh at those situations.
It's like the BBT type of stuff.
Yeah,
exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
exactly.
You don't mind the rats in the toilet so much when you got a good group of guys around you.
Exactly.
The mushrooms in the showers.
Yeah. No. So yeah. So I had the eye injury. So ref's whistle got me in the cornea.
The ref's whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just intervene here? Worst way to get a hockey injury of all time, by the way, to get injured by a ref's whistle. Like not a stick in the eye, no one elbowed him or punched him. The ref hit him in the face with his whistle.
Is this during play or in between?
Yeah, no, it's during so the linesman dropped the puck. And then I guess he went to signal safe face-off, which I didn't know you were supposed to do.
What's a thing?
It's not a thing. And he clocks me right in the eye with his whistle. And like
That's not funny. Are you okay?
You can see.
It's only funny if you can see us right now. Can you see us, Carl?
Yes.
How many fingers does Wally hold it up?
But it took forever to heal. It took like 6 weeks, and I think it's still not like the one eye. I could see better out of the one eye than the other. Yeah, so it took 6 weeks, and then after that, I came back for which ended up being the last game of the season. So I played one game, and then a couple teams got COVID. Our team got COVID, and they canceled the last 3 games of the regular season. Paused for 2 weeks and started playoffs 2 weeks later, and we missed out by 2 points.
So you never got to play the final games to make the playoffs?
No. So yeah.
But I don't want to seem like one of these weird guys who just follows all of his friends on the leagues, but didn't you score in that game with one eye? I'm pretty sure you did, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, see?
I guess with you guys on here,
good eye and hit the net.
That's maybe what you should have done from the beginning. Maybe you're better with one eye. Can I tell a hilarious Huddy story do you remember the time, Wally, I think he talked about it on the last time we spoke when we went to Swindon for practice, and you were writing not me. You were writing your dissertation in the car on the way, and we sat in the back and wrote it. And then
I had already wrote it. We were proofreading it.
Yeah, we were fixing it. That's fine. But we got to Swindon, and it was when they were relaying the ice in Cardiff. And I just remember that we were trying to have some fun, and Lordo was all I think he was getting a little bit stressed out because we were being a little too relaxed about it, right? And we were practicing the power play, and Huddy was he was the 1T guy, right? Because he's got a bomb of a shot, so the boys are teeing him up for the 1Ts on the power play and being practice and whatever. And Huddy, just being the kind of guy that he is, he's not really hammering them just in case he hits one of the PK guys, and he'd feel bad about it. And then Lordo loses his shit. He's just when he passes you the puck, you got to shoot it like you mean it. You got to hammer that thing. So then we run the power play again, follow the exact same pattern. Carl cranks it one of the hardest slap shots I've ever seen him take. And it hits Lordo square in the head, right in front of the net. And then we're all like, oh my God. And then he gets up and he's like, that's what I'm talking about. It's what's the guy doing? But we were all in tears of laughter because he was on his back about hitting the puck hard, and he didn't square between the eyes.
Oh,
that was the GOAT episode. That was episode 9. That was Joey Martin told that story about Carl.
I thought I was gonna take it off the power play for sure after that.
Yeah. It wasn't as good as the putter toss though when we were back in the BBT. Do you remember that one? He'd lost. It might have been after your time actually, Wally. Were you there the year Kirks was there?
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
that's when I was spray painting myself. I might not have been at practice. I might have been in the sauna.
Yeah, and he'd lost his shit in practice again because the top line, hadn't been screening the goalie for the drills that we were running, and he lost it, and he did the full putter toss, right? And he's like, screen the goalie, I've told you 5 times now. And he turns around and goes to fling his stick into the stands. And as he does it, he steps on a puck, goes flat on it, falls flat on his face, right? And then scrambles to get up, and his helmet's down here, so he can't see a thing. And then in the meantime, the sticks hit the stands in the chairs. It's bounced off the railings and it's come back down onto the ice and hit him in the head. And he's so mad, right? He's fuming. And we're all sat on the bench waiting for our shift, and we're all just you couldn't laugh because he was so angry. And he's just sort of calmly pulls his helmet back up so that he can see. It's honestly one of my favorite moments of practice when he stepped on that puck. He laughs about it now, so it's okay.
Oh dear. Okay. Oh, that was a good laugh. So Carl, everything's good with you because you haven't been on the pod before. We were having an update with Piglett here and seeing where he's at, and I thought, geez, it'd just be a fun dynamic to see this happen. And one story about you, I really feel like we'll tell now before it's your actual episode, is when you taught Colby how to hunt. I guess they were pigeons with. Can you tell that story? But do you remember that?
Yeah, we were babysitting Colby, right?
Well, he was my kid, so you wouldn't really call it babysitting.
No, I was. I think I didn't know you were there.
I was the one with you pushing the stroller, dude, and you came with us for a walk, and we had packed.
I meant we, as in me and Allie, not.
I think. Oh, sorry. No, I think it was just you and I, Carl. I think it was just you and I out, and we perhaps might have packed a beverage or two in the bottom of the stroller for a walk around Cardiff Bay.
Yeah, and we went to the park there, and we were trying to shoot pigeons, but I don't know. I think the Nerf gun didn't have enough power. Needed one of those real super Nerf guns. Maybe we could have got a pigeon for dinner or something.
Carl would have eaten that too.
We were down by the harbor, or whatever it's called, like right down almost by where the BBT was, but just over the bridge.
Yeah.
And you put out bread, and you had all the pigeons coming to eat the bread, and you had little Colby in between your legs, and you guys were sitting there in the dirt. You're like, just wait for them to eat it. And then they'd come up and eat the bread, and then you shoot the Nerf bullet at them. God, it was funny. So that is one thing we got to talk about, since that was so much fun watching that happen. So your kids have to be having a ball, because you got a couple now.
Yeah, we've got two. The one's just a baby. McKinley's a baby, but she's starting to crawl and stuff. And then Logan's just a ball of energy and soaks up everything, and he's hilarious.
How old are they?
McKinley is 6 months this week, and Logan's 2.5.
Busy times. That's actually right in my wheelhouse of being in Cardiff doing an MBA right there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Busy.
Without the MBA, at least, though, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And no strolls around Cardiff Barrage for a couple of hangover beers.
I wasn't a hockey player anymore, pigs. Don't judge me.
I wasn't judging you. I came on a few of those walks. I skipped work.
You sure did. You were there. So that was one trip I remembered. And the other reason why I know Carl so well is we did live in the same building our second year there when I was injured and going through some tough times. But we did spend a lot of time with Colby at the World of Boats, and Zoe was there.
World of Boats is probably one of the greatest spots in Cardiff.
It doesn't exist anymore.
I know it doesn't at all. Even the museum's gone.
It's gone.
What's there now?
I don't know. Some other restaurant. I think I can't remember. But something's there now, but it's not World of Boats. It's not the same, and it wasn't the same after you left anyway. You know, that was Carl's place.
It was just so nice to sit beside there, because you were kind of away from like the hustle and bustle of the bay, where all the rest of the bars are, and you're just kind of looking over that, you know?
No, you're right. It was just like you are in your personality. It's like, I remember you wanting to be by the river and like not even like just live off the land or whatever. But like, I'm the same way. Like, I live in the middle of nowhere, and I don't like being in the hustle and bustle all the time. And yourself and I and Piglet was there. Like, I loved that place, sitting over there and just looking out at the lake, and it was just relaxed.
I forget what the beer was called that they served there, but
Amstel we had all the time.
Gave you a good buzz.
I feel like I always had Amstel there. No, maybe not.
I know their food could have been better, but it was more the atmosphere that was nice. It was very. I guess I could see why it's not there anymore. We were the only people there.
I think it was the company, you know. You get Carl going on a heater, and it's never boring.
And there's always
Can I-
during the day. Like it was
Always,
like,
always. It's a day spot. It's not a night spot. It's a day spot.
exactly. But they did have, I think they had stuff at night like salsa dancing and quiz night and stuff, but I never went to any of those.
No, you were
Yeah, I'm
more
not sure how
more of a daytime guy, just like myself.
Yeah.
That's old school hockey, folks.
Big daytime guy. Can I tell a story about Carl as well?
Yes,
Another
absolutely.
one?
That's actually why we're here.
Well, I need Carl's permission. Can I tell people how I got the nickname Piggins? Do you remember this?
No, I don't remember.
So some of the boys,
my memory's gone.
You know how some of the boys call me Piggins instead of Pigsy for a long time because they thought it was hilarious. Because the reason why that nickname started was I think we were only like a couple of months into that 2015 year when you guys first joined the team. And we'd gone to Belfast and we'd had a doubleheader in Belfast. And then we had like a full week until another game. So on the second night, we all went out in Belfast and got after it, right? And we were even allowed airport beers at that time. Like, we got up in the morning, everyone's hanging a bit. So we had a few more at the airport. And so everyone's feeling a little bit rough. Going down, and I think actually Wally, you did a number on the airplane bathroom that nearly made some people throw up. That you swore blind wasn't you, but no one had been in that thing for like an hour and it still smelled. And then we get onto the bus, and it's not even a long bus trip. I think it was Bristol to Cardiff, and we only got about like half an hour down the road, and I see this like naked guy walking up the bus from the back, and it was Carl, and everyone's just dying of laughter because he's got a good buzz going again for a little daytime drinking. As we know, Carl likes a little daytime, and we're just dying of laughter. And I turn around and I look at him, and he's right there, like his junk's right in my face, and then he just looks at me and goes, "What are you laughing at, Piggins?" Like he hadn't learned my nickname yet, so he called me Piggins. So then it just took off. So like everybody just calls me Piggins from that point. I was like, "What's Piggins? Is that like the Canadian French version of Pigsy or what?" Like, but these are moments that you take away with you for life, Carl, and that's why I love you so much.
Well, you're called Piggins from that point on, so.
I know.
You know
what's funny is like when we start talking about this stuff, it's like, Carl, when you say your memory's gone, like my memory was like that, especially when your kids are at the age your kids are at. You're busy. You're so busy. I bet you take extra poos during the year. You probably pretend to poo sometimes and just sit on the toilet, because I used to do it. I used to play.
I don't pretend, but I do take my time now.
Wow, yeah, exactly. It might just take a little longer to get there, but seriously, like you're busy and your memory's tired, but like once you get to my age and like I had forgot everything, and then once you start talking about this stuff, you start remembering. It was that first year, man, when we were all still just wild and like they hadn't wrangled us in at all, and we were even doing that well or whatever, and we were at Belfast, and Carl, it was yourself and I. We just started ordering beers on the plane, like we were at the NHL or something. Do you remember that? That was like when we were first getting to know each other. We didn't even hardly know each other, and we sat there on the plane and we buried back about 4 or 5 beers, and the way the stewardess would come back and give us beers, and Lordo just roasted us when we got back for practice that week.
Yeah, we had to skate that one off for a couple of days, I remember.
Yeah, I remember another time at the airport. I don't know if it was me and you, Pigsy, or me and Salters and Hendo maybe. And
oh, it was me.
No, this was another time. I think the second year.
No, that's definitely me.
When Lordo lost it on us.
Yeah, right at the start of the year before I'm hurt. Yeah. They said no beers, and then then you and Salters were ordering a beer, and you're like, "Do you want one?" And I was like, "Well, I want one, but we can't have one." And then I went and took
Did he say no beer, or did he say like?
They said it on the bus on the way to the airport, I guess. And then yeah, that's it. Anyways, yeah, we had we ended. You guys ordered beer, and I was like, this is the first time I was like a captain, and I'm like, guys, don't drink it here. If you guys are gonna drink it around the corner. And you guys had ordered me one, and I was like, and then as soon as you guys are walking around the corner, I'm like, just get away so you don't get seen if you are gonna do it. And then I got a jab in the ribs from Lordo out of nowhere.
yeah.
Oh
Like
man, I thought he broke my ribs with that thing. He got right in there. Yeah, but yeah, I remember that one too.
That one didn't go down quite so well. We had a little less freedom. I remember that trip.
That's when they were starting to lock us down. Hey, then I came back 5 years later for Wally night, and you guys were all locked down.
Yeah. Well, it was all serious business, you know, winning hockey games and winning championships.
That's true. It does get serious winning, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
That's why I stay on losing teams.
It's just the benefits.
Just better fit for me.
I mean, if you play in places like the BBT, people just feel sorry for you, so you could just do whatever you want. You know, like you got to deal with tough conditions. You got to be allowed to give a bit of rope to these guys. And you know, if your water bottles are freezing, maybe you got to put a bit of vodka in them to make sure that doesn't happen. So it's like,
oh no, that second league of Germany is good, but that rink is just insane how cold it gets. It is absolutely banana lands.
Like my first year in Germany, like whatever, 10 years ago, I think you were in the league then too. The one in Kaufbeuren was even worse.
Oh, that rink was cool though. Like they're cool rinks, like they are.
Because
Kaufbeuren had a cool rink.
Because that's where I played there for a year and a half too.
Jeez, you've been over for a while. How long are you gonna go, man? Are you going back next year? Do you got anything done?
No, I don't know yet. I'm doing my firefighting this summer, and we'll see how that goes, and then see if we want to go back for a year or not. I don't know yet. I'm just waiting to see this if Ali lets me go back or
if it's over.
What's that? Yeah, I can go for one more at least, though.
Well, I tell you,
that's what you say every year. You know, it's every year it's that same debate. I could do one more year, and then the same like for the next 5 years.
But we'll see.
That's exactly what happens, though, is you just keep doing one more year, and then if you did get the opportunity to get in as a firefighter and you had it all done and like that came up, then yeah. But if not, then you may as well rock and roll, right?
Yeah, that's basically what's probably going to happen. Yeah, if I get in somewhere.
That's what happened for me. Is my knee took out the second guessing, right? Like if I would have had I was planning on being done that year regardless, but then when the knee takes it out of the equation to come back, then it makes it way easier if teams start throwing money towards your way to be a hockey player and you're lost back in Canada trying to figure out what to do next, and teams are sending money your way. You're like, well, why wouldn't I go play hockey?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to I guess since this is kind of like Freestyle Friday, is
but it's Monday.
Carl set up one of the greatest skiing trips of all time, where Luke and I never went skiing.
The ski trip where we didn't ski. Yeah.
So Carl, thank you very much for setting that trip up, because that was incredible. And
yeah, it was like whenever you go on ski trips to start with are like just unbelievable. But then when you go with like 11 or how many were we? 11 or 10 or 11?
About that, yeah.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, just great dudes, and it's just it was unbelievable. And like I think the weather was good, like almost every day. We were there 4 days? I think.
Yeah,
I was only there for 3 because I came straight from another stag do.
That was a rough trip for you, eh?
Yeah, I had the 45-minute layover in Amsterdam between Tallinn in Estonia, and then getting to you guys in France, and I had to get up. I had to get up. I just didn't go to bed because like my flight left at like 5 a.m. I had to be at the airport at like 4, and I was on another stag do. So what do? You just have to go straight to the airport from the party. So I packed my bag before we went out that night, took the plane. I had the 45-minute layover, and then they didn't have a spare set of stairs to let people off the plane. So by the time I got off the plane, I had 10 minutes to catch my flight, the connection. I legged it across the airport and got there just as they were closing the door to get on the plane from Schiphol over to France, and then took the Alpi bus from the airport in Geneva, actually just down the road from where I am now, and waited for Wally to make his way down from the cable car to come and let me into the chalet, so that we could sit in the hot tub for about 8 hours drinking wine.
We did talk about that last time. Carl, what was that guy's name that was such a dandy? What was the French?
Well,
Pepe!
Someone
Pepe.
named him Pepe.
Why was he Pepe? I think I called him Pepe. Why was he Pepe? Who's Pepe? That's the guy, though.
Yeah,
That's him.
Jocelyn Besson. I played with him and his brother in Morzine, and then again in Chamonix that next year.
That was the brother was the guy's pole I was holding on to on the way down the mountain until we got to the moguls, and I decided to try and give her a whirl myself. Yeah.
I met up with Pepe's brother as well, only a few years ago, because he came over to London for Deuce's wedding, and me and Murray went to the wedding, and we were drinking the night before, and Pepe's brother rocked. We were like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long. And it was like we were best friends again, just like we were on that trip, you know.
Yeah, but no, we had a lot of cheese on that trip too. I remember.
I don't think I shit for a week.
Because we had a fondue the first night. And
then we went back to that great restaurant, and then everybody was like, well, I'm going to get something different. And I'm like, well, that fondue was so great, I'm getting it again. And
I
then
think everyone ended up getting it again.
I felt like you guys rolled me out of that restaurant. Like I was sweating. It was disgusting.
Just cheese and bread for days.
Oh, that fondue was incredible.
Wasn't the first or the last time we rolled you out of a restaurant, so that's okay.
But Pigs, I guess you're close to Morzine now, right? Like it's probably an hour and a half.
I gotta pee.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half. But obviously, I've got ski mountains that are the way closer than Morzine, and they were shut this year too, right? The French ones were all shut,
and the Swiss ones were open, yeah.
The Swiss ones stayed open all season, so I did lots of skiing, but none of it was in France. It was all in Switzerland. So, but yeah, it's only around. It's literally like there's out of my window right now. If there were there's a mountain in the way, but I can almost see it basically. It's just behind the mountain range that's right across the lake for me.
But the snow's gone now, obviously.
Yeah, there's a few bits right at the top of the tall mountains, but it's really pretty much all gone. I mean, Mont Blanc, for example, still got a decent amount of snow on it, but the majority of the
you need a guide up there too, Mont Blanc and stuff.
Yeah, but the snow is pretty much gone from like resort height.
Yeah. Cool.
So, guys, where are we at in the conversation here? Last time I looked at the notes, we were at eye injury and World of Boats. Carl, you got any? What else do you got going on these days?
Well, also I'm doing that firefighter course. I finished the online part, and I go to Toronto. I'm actually going to stay with Hoth for a month.
Is it not in Texas anymore?
There's one in Toronto.
For a month?
Yeah, I'm staying with Hoth for a month.
And you're gonna leave Allie with the two little ones for a month, and you're gonna go stay with Hoth?
Yeah. My parents are gonna come for 2 weeks, and then Allie's parents just moved across the lake. So it's like a 4-minute boat ride to get to our place. So they'll be helping out a bunch too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
is that where they're from, or they just bought up there to move up there to be around?
So they had a cottage up here, and then they just retired, and then they built a house where the cottage was.
Oh, the cottage is gone. They because Wally, I went up there, didn't I?
You hold on. You've been to his place, and you haven't been to my place.
I went to. Hey, he's a bit close. I was in Toronto for.
No, that's
something.
okay. That's okay. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. You're just episode 1. It's cool. That's fine.
It was Falk's wedding, and then I came and stayed with Carl for 4 days.
Yeah.
In the cottage.
In the cottage, and then Hendo came, right?
Oh,
Hendo came at the same time. The three of us were there.
Remember, me and Ali dusted you and Hendo at Can Jam, and you guys had to go into the jail, which was the treehouse.
The treehouse. You had to sit out for the rest of the game if you were that bad.
Full of mosquitoes.
What's Can Jam?
Can Jam.
It's like a frisbee game.
Yeah. So it's like a frisbee. You got to get it in like a kind of like a garbage can almost.
Is it? So you're talking like, not frisbee golf, like
no,
not really. No,
it's like picture like a crazy.
You throw it and then someone has to knock it in, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's it.
I played that.
Yeah, we played a lot of those games, and after a little while and after a few beers, we came up with the rule that if you got, I think if you didn't get over, I think you played a 20 or something, right? And then if you didn't get over like, if you didn't get over 10 points, you had to spend the whole rest of the next game in this little treehouse, which was full of mosquitoes, watching the game on your own in jail.
And feel shame.
And feel embarrassed about how bad you are at Can Jam. I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of time in that treehouse.
So back to what? Yeah. So basically, I'm doing that firefighting for a month, and then I applied for a job, firefighting job. So I'm studying for an aptitude test right now. So I basically got to relearn like all the math that I've learned growing up. Like I haven't done math in years, so like fractions and all that stuff. Like I just have to basically relearn everything for this test. And well, I have to learn how to read too, because I guess you got to read the test, read questions and stuff.
But Carl, you did that Open University course, remember? Advanced maths, wasn't it?
Oh, that was physics, I think.
Physics, that was it.
Yeah. But,
I think you still have the calculator I lent you.
Yeah, and so the other thing is we're not allowed to use a calculator for these tests. Some of the numbers are like long division, like anyways. So I'm studying for that, and then I have a camp with the kids. I got 5 kids, like off ice training.
Nice. So there's some hockey players up there to train?
Yeah, just like young kids. Yeah, there's hockey. They got a junior team up here, and they got AAA.
That's good.
Yeah.
It reminds you of your summers that you spent with me and Jonesy when you trained us for an entire summer too.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Carl put together the most comprehensive training program I've ever done in my entire life. He literally went in and did videos of every exercise, set a schedule for when he went home, and sent like a weekly, like you got to do this on this day, and here's all the video links so you can do it properly. And then like we had to like check in with him and everything. Honestly, it was the best shape I've ever been in.
Wally was probably supposed to be doing that summer too.
No, I was on the gag ball, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. You were working on your mobility.
You guys all worked out as a team, and then myself, Marshy, and Lordo did an old man gag ball workout.
Yeah.
I feel like you should quantify that a bit.
Really?
Because we know what you're talking about, but the average listener's not going to know.
If you re-listen to the GOAT episode 9, it's the German goat, not the Welsh goat, Justin Kelly. He talks about, I asked him about the bands and all the different weird workouts because he was doing it about 5-6 years before Lordo. And I was like, is that the same workout? Is that the same thing? Because they're both from Vancouver. And it was the same thing. So it's this weird thing with bands, and there's a ball kind of by your nuts, and you got things Velcroed on your wrists and thighs, right? And then there's tension every way you move, and you just give her.
Yeah, I remember. I was just trying to look now. I remember the photos you were sending of you, like the improvements you were making on the body, and you're like flexing in the mirror. It's the best shape you've ever been in.
Well, as you can tell by the first, I guess we're at episode 39 of podcast, people tend to make fun of my body. I'm not sure why that is, because I look like a hockey player, right? Like If you'd see me on the street, you'd be like,
The crickets, Bigsy. When you see just crickets.
if you saw that guy walking his dog down the street in Kincardine, you'd be like, that guy screams hockey player.
I can't remember where we were, but it's a party. It's like, oh, so how do you know these guys? I'm like, oh, I played hockey with these guys, that guy, or him over there too. And I think it's when you just like chowed down on like a whole pizza or something and your gut was like bloated out. And it's like, you played hockey? That guy plays professional hockey? I was like, yeah, he was actually our top scorer. Like that guy over there. Like,
it was always a constant struggle. It was a constant struggle.
Wow. You know, you just, you had a talent, you know.
What country code starts with +41?
That was me. I was looking for a picture. I accidentally called you.
Oh, okay.
Switzerland. But I was looking for the picture of you flexing in the mirror. So
oh no, I got it. I actually, since episode 1 to now, I haven't really exercised. I've rode the bike casually, the stationary bike casually for 20 minutes. And then I get in the sauna quite a bit. But I've been laughing so much in my shed, talking to all my old friends and reliving all this fun stuff that the only belt I've owned for the last 10 years, my brother-in-law did just have to drill 2 new holes into it. I've lost.
Make it bigger or smaller?
Like I've lost weight without working out and drinking beers just by laughing with my friends. So it's a pretty good feeling that I'm getting in shape doing this today, guys. Feel like I'm working out.
That's what Carl's summer program should have been, you know. We should have called each other on a nightly basis and drank beers and we all would have lost weight and got in shape.
Right, Carl?
Yeah.
That's how it works, but we could try it.
I do have
maybe don't teach that one to the kids though.
I do have to say this though, Carl, because you are talented at what you do. Is episode 2, Jeff Lavecchio, he made this Train Heroic app where he made videos where people train with him all over the world. You were doing that before him. You were doing that well before COVID. You were doing that just for our hockey team. If you like you had everything you needed to you're a great trainer, and you trained our whole hockey team with the Cardiff Devils. With people may not know that, but the second year you were the trainer of the team, right?
Yeah. I know I still have that website up and like it still works, but I just never put it out there or tried selling it or anything, or because I think Richie, I think he might still use it sometimes, in the summers too. He'll go out there and take a workout here and there, a couple of weeks or something.
Well, and that's what I mean is you have something there, sir. You just need to put it into motion.
I actually did it in Crivenchow this year too.
And that's what I'm saying. And you were the conditioning coach in Milton Keynes, were you not? That's what Elite Prospects told me. So you've been the conditioning coach for 3 teams you've played for, and you're still trying to be a firefighter. So well, I guess we'll see what happens, but let's get the videos up online and see what happens. Eh, Carl?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
If Wally's podcast has ever taught you anything, anything's possible. You just got to put it out there and see how kind of reception you get.
You never do know what people want to listen to, because they're going to want to listen to us drinking beers today. And that's weird shit, eh? Because guess what? If I knew that 3 guys from that team in Cardiff were having beers together talking today, I would want to listen to it, and I'd be jealous I wasn't a part of it. Hendo, you're episode 2,343 because you keep dodging me.
Yeah.
He's still
no
dodging
commitment.
you, eh?
Oh no, it's just fun now. We're gonna make it happen. Actually, I have a goal and a vision. Okay, listen to this one. They say that in podcasts, it's all about how many people click it or listen to it, which all us old folks never share it. We don't like it. We don't let anybody else know about it. Realistically, I have a lot of people listening, but nobody's sharing it and liking it, which is funny because we're all the same age and we don't really use social media. But my goal is to do about 7 like UK Cardiff legends in 1 week. I'm going to release one a day for 7 days straight. And I'm going to see if I can be the #1 ranked podcast in the UK for 1 week. You know what I mean? And then I can take a picture. I can mount it on my wall in my shed and say, hey, Spit and Chicklets, the week of this week, I might have released 7, but but I was #1 and I'm going to do it.
This is where we need to get you in. We get the that fund going to get you over to Switzerland. You could do like a podcast on tour, like, top of the Alps with Brent Walton.
Wow. And the things, the opportunities are endless. It would be like you'd almost have to go to the top of that mountain in your morph suit and say, do you want to sponsor my friend coming over here in his Venom outfit? Because he could host the podcast from up here, but we're going to have to get him here. And I guess like he's not a 2.3% owner of the Devils. That was just this, that was fake. So how are we going to get him here, right?
Yeah. We get that pool going, everybody just chips in £1. We get there.
Yeah, you never do know what can happen.
I'll even toss in the 20 for the spray paint.
Are you gonna spray paint me up there? But hey, I guess I don't know if the new coach is into that sort of thing. That would have to be a long talk. You'd have to get to know me first, I think.
Or just no choice and just turn up and do it, and then it is what it is.
I don't think those things happen anymore in the hockey world. I think we were the last team doing things of that nature. Maybe not. Junior teams might be having fun. Who knows, right?
Who knows what those kids get up to? I was kind of pumped, actually. I was thinking, like, when they drew Lausanne, I was like, yes, maybe I can do the Wally pregame, right? And then I realized, like, oh, Lordo's not there anymore. Like, Deese isn't there anymore. Like, Marty's not there anymore. Like, and then the list just kept going, and I was like, I don't even want to do it anymore. Like, guys just wouldn't get it, It just wouldn't.
But that's the thing is, if Wally night didn't happen when it did, that would have never happened. That was the last possible date that could have ever happened, because then it was COVID and now everybody's gone and there would not be a podcast. And I don't think the three of us would be sitting here crushing a pint on Saturday afternoon.
Is it Monday?
Carl, you must be drunk.
Holiday Monday.
Holiday Monday. Carl's maybe drunk. He doesn't know his days.
That's all right. Anyways, you guys have anything else? Carl, do you remember this sucker here?
You can't see it. You got to bring it forward.
No, I'll just turn off the background, eh?
But it's the Thor hammer.
It's the Thor hammer. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do.
It still works, man. Look at this. It still works.
Is that still the original one?
Yeah, same batteries. Same batteries. Same batteries
too?
Yeah.
You don't use it enough then.
Well, I haven't used it probably since Deese, actually. Like, Colby really outgrew the whole Avengers thing there, and it's still hanging around.
You got to mount that on the wall or something.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody else got anything left to say other than I think we'll end the recording here for the whole podcast, and we'll just see what's actually cracking these days.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, Wally.
And this has been episode 39 with Luke Piggott and special guest Carl Hudson, who is going to make his other debut for the full podcast shortly here. And I think that will be during UK All-Stars week when we try to break the record.